There is something unsettling about the question. Who are you? Not your name, not your job, not your thoughts, memories, or even your emotions. A scientist once set out to find the self, the core of identity that makes you. He mapped the neurons of the brain, traced electrical impulses, and dissected consciousness itself, believing he could pinpoint the observer, the entity experiencing reality. But the deeper he looked, the more the truth unraveled into something terrifying. There was no center, no single place in the brain where the self lived, no thinker behind the thoughts. It was as if the observer was a phantom, everywhere and nowhere at once. And here's where things get even stranger. Neuroscientists have discovered that your brain makes decisions before you are even aware of them. In the famous Libet experiment, researchers found that electrical activity in the brain signals a decision before a person consciously chooses to act. In other words, the thought you believe you are choosing has already been made for you. Even more unsettling, neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga's work on split-brain patients shows that the brain creates a post hoc narrative to justify actions it didn't consciously control, fabricating stories about why you did something after the fact. So if thoughts arise before you decide them, if actions happen before you choose them, then who or what is actually in control? Now I ask you to pause. Close your eyes. Listen. Who is hearing this voice right now? If you were to strip away every label, every memory, and every fleeting thought, what remains? Imagine walking into a room and seeing a mirror on the wall. You step in front of it, expecting to see yourself staring back. But the glass is empty, no reflection, no image, nothing. You wave your hand, but there's no response. It's as if you aren't there at all. This is exactly what happens when scientists search for the self in the brain. They expect to find a control center, the thinker, the observer. But all they find are neurons firing, signals passing, and thoughts appearing out of nowhere. So if there's no you inside the brain, then who is experiencing reality right now? You believe you are the thinker of your thoughts, the doer of your actions, the one in control. But what if everything you've believed about yourself is just another illusion? One so deeply ingrained that you've never even thought to question it. Because the moment you do, everything changes. For as long as humans have been able to think, they have been haunted by a single unshakable question. Who am I? This question has driven monks into silence, mystics into trances, and scientists into laboratories. Some have searched for the answer in scripture, others in philosophy, and some, like neuroscientists, have sought it in the physical wiring of the brain itself. But no matter where they looked, the answer remained elusive. You have a name, but you are not just a name. You have memories, but you are not just memories. You have thoughts, but you are not just thoughts. So who or what are you? From the moment you were born, you were given an identity, a name, a family, a culture, a collection of beliefs and experiences that shaped you. And for years you accepted this identity as you, just as a fish accepts the ocean as its home, never questioning it, never realizing that it is swimming in something much larger. But what if everything you believe yourself to be is just a story your mind keeps telling itself? Close your eyes for a moment. Let go of every label, your name, your job, your memories. Now ask yourself, who is left? What remains when the story stops being told? Because if your thoughts, emotions, and memories are constantly changing, yet something within you remains the same, then perhaps you are not the story. Perhaps you are the silence between the words. You believe you are in control of your mind, that you are the master of your thoughts, the architect of your choices. But let's test that. Right now, think of a number between 1 and 10. Got it? Now ask yourself, did you consciously pick that number? Or did it simply appear in your mind? You might say, of course I picked it. But did you? Really? Did you decide which thought would come next? Or did it just arise like a wave rolling onto shore? This is where things start to unravel. For most of your life, you've assumed that you are the thinker of your thoughts, the one making choices. But if you pay close attention, you'll notice something unsettling. Thoughts just happen, They appear, they disappear, they repeat, they shift, but you are not creating them. Try this. For the next 10 seconds, do not think anything. Just stop thinking. Completely. Did it work? Or did thoughts keep coming anyway? The mind is like a river. It flows whether you want it to or not. You can watch the currents, you can get lost in them, but you do not control them. And here's where it gets even stranger. If you are not the one generating your thoughts, if you are not the voice inside your head, then who are you? What if you are not the mind but the one watching the mind? And the moment you see this clearly, the illusion begins to crack. Imagine you've been playing a character in a movie your entire life. You've memorized the script, identified with the role, and fully believed in the story being told. The joys, the struggles, the triumphs, and the defeats. You felt them all as if they were undeniably real. Then one day, something shocking happens. You step back from the scene and see the cameras, the set, the director's chair, and for the first time you realize you were never just the character, you were the one watching the entire time. This is what happens when you shift from being your thoughts to observing them. At first it feels unnatural. Your mind resists. It throws distractions, emotions, and endless mental noise your way, trying to pull you back into the movie. But something within you has changed. You've caught a glimpse of the illusion. So now, instead of reacting to every anxious thought, you simply notice it. Instead of being consumed by emotions, you watch them rise and fall like waves. Instead of clinging to an identity, you begin to ask, who is the one observing all of this? And that's when everything shifts, because you realize that the mind, with all its stories and worries, was never you. You were never trapped inside it to begin with. You were always the one watching the movie, not the character lost inside it. Two people stand at the edge of a vast ocean. One is overwhelmed by thoughts. Their mind is replaying old regrets, anxieties about the future, and 1,000 unfinished to-do lists. They are physically present, but mentally they are somewhere else, stuck in the past, lost in the future, anywhere but here. The other simply stands. They feel the salty breeze on their skin. They hear the waves crashing and retreating. They see the sun shimmering on the water's surface. Both are in the exact same place, but they are living in two completely different worlds. This is the difference between being lost in the mind and being fully present. Most people go through life inside their heads, mistaking thoughts for reality, unaware that they are seeing the world through the lens of their conditioning. But presence, true presence, is not about forcing yourself to be in the moment. It's about recognizing that you were never anywhere else. The only thing that pulls you away from reality is the illusion of the mind. And the moment you stop identifying with that illusion, you wake up to a reality that was here all along. Imagine you're holding onto a rope. At first, you don't even realize you're gripping it. It feels normal, natural even. But over time, your hands begin to ache. Your fingers tense. The strain builds. And yet, letting go seems impossible. Because what if the rope is holding you? This is how most people live, with an iron grip on their thoughts, their identities, their fears. They believe that if they loosen their hold, everything will fall apart. But here's the truth. You were never being held by the rope. You were the one holding it all along. So what happens when you let go? At first, fear sets in. The mind panics. It rushes to fill the silence with noise, memories, worries, anything to keep you engaged in its endless dialogue. But then, something incredible happens. The tension vanishes. The struggle disappears. And in its place, there is only space, vast, open, and free. Letting go doesn't mean losing control. It means realizing you never needed control in the first place. It means understanding that the thoughts, the emotions, the stories, they were never you. And when you release them, when you finally stop clinging, you don't fall. You float. Have you ever had a dream so vivid that for a moment you were convinced it was real? In the dream, you react to everything as if it matters. The fear feels real. The joy feels real. The struggle feels real. Then suddenly you wake up, and instantly everything that once seemed so urgent, so important, disappears like mist in the morning sun. Now ask yourself, what if waking life works the same way? What if your mind, your thoughts, your identity are just another dream, one that you haven't woken up from yet? This is the moment of awakening, the instant you see that the self you've spent years trying to perfect, defend, and hold on to was never real to begin with. Not in the way you thought, not as something separate, solid, and fixed. It was just a story, a temporary role in a fleeting dream. And the moment you wake up, the need to prove, to chase, to control, dissolves because you realize you were never lost. You were just asleep. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. For years, you've believed that the reflection staring back at you is you. You've adjusted it, perfected it, obsessed over it. But what if one day you reached out and your hand passed right through the glass? What if everything you've believed about yourself, your name, your past, your thoughts, was just a projection, an illusion so convincing that you never even thought to question it? But now you have. And once the illusion cracks, it can never be put back together. Because you were never the reflection. You were never the voice in your head. You were never the story your mind kept telling itself. You were the space, the awareness, the silent witness behind it all. And the moment you see this, truly see it, you are free. Free from the weight of the past. Free from the fears of the future. Free from the endless need to prove, to chase, to be something. Because you finally understand, you were never lost. You were never broken. You were never separate from the infinite, from the divine, from everything. You were simply dreaming. And now, you've woken up.